There are some heavy hitters in this one. Support the comic entry by visiting your LCS. My name is Doran. This is SEO Comics. We continue our covers of Justice League Unlimited. Number 9. Our story starts off with Harley Quinn. Speaking of Harley Quinn, at the time of this recording, her solo issue is on number 53. Marvel very rarely does this. Like, Wolverine got 50, X-Force got 50, Captain Marvel got 50. That's off the top of my head. Those are the only ones I know that got 50. They got 50. Harley Quinn's on 53. But this isn't the Harley Quinn that got 53 issues. No. This is old school Harley Quinn. As she yells, "What did you do with Mr. J?" But right before she's about to bring that big hammer down on Hal Jordan, she disappears back in the time stream because time is trying to reset itself. So Abin Sur is like, why are we being kept here? And he wants to go back to his timeline, and Hal just looks at him, as we all know what happens to Abin Sur and how Hal gets his ring. There's another time tremor, and the Batman, I believe the one that got shot with the Omega Ascensions and had to go through time, he disappears. Some other girl I don't recognize disappears. But then we have a guest appearance of Green Lantern fused Batman and Superman. That run is definitely going to hit 50. It's probably going to go over 50. Might even get to 100. Never know. But then we cut to Black Lightning, who is interrogating Gorilla Grodd, trying to get him to talk. But that gorilla ain't talking. Like, come on now. He ain't giving up nothing. But then out of nowhere, the War Forger and Time Trapper shows up. Now the War Forger is the brother of the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor. And Time Trapper is an evolved Doomsday. Like I said, heavy hitters. But now we cut to Terrific Tech Towers, where we have Blue Beetle Ted Kord, who's trying to talk some sense into Mr. Terrific. He's like, I know you're upset about this whole airwave thing, but right now we got time displaced heroes and villains that pretty much in a nutshell is going to break time if we don't figure out a way to fix it. But then we see Mr. Terrific taking advantage of this whole time travel situation. He has a younger version of himself, and they're trying to figure out how to bring back airwave. Ted Kord cracks a basic joke, nothing too crazy, and Mr. Terrific throws a keyboard at him. Like, he is emotional as hell. So his younger version is like, man, do I get dumber as I get older? Because the solution is right here. It's actually pretty easy to solve. And as soon as he's about to come up with the solution, he disappears back into the time stream. So of course now Mr. Terrific is really freaking out. I guess I'm supposed to say crash out, but I'm old, I ain't saying that. So then we cut back to the Watchtower, where Firestorm is asking Wally if that's Doomsday. And Wally's like, yes, as an evolved Doomsday that calls himself the Time Trapper. He's still a bad guy. And the other guy is the World Forger, who is brothers with the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor. It's my understanding that these guys could flatten us with a sneeze, so tread carefully. I just want the record to reflect that he said that. So the World Forger explains how he built the universe, and it's his job to maintain its integrity. But with all the time shenanigans that Grodd just pulled off, there are some issues now. But then there's another time quake, and Aquaman and one of the Flashes disappear. But now the World Forger is not even trying to mix words anymore. Pretty much says that they're there to take Grodd, dissect him, and find out if the key to whatever it is to stop all this is in him. And obviously this doesn't sit well with Grodd. So we cut back to Mr. Terrific, who is still throwing a fit. Like, he's just not in the right headspace. And Ted Kord lets him know that. He's like, look, the reason why the younger version of you was able to figure out the solution is because he wasn't emotionally invested. We do your best work when it's just you and the problem and nothing else. So Mr. Terrific's like, you know what? You're right. So they cut back to the Watchtower, and Black Lightning's like, hold on, time out. I know what he did was bad, but we don't want to fly out, just murder the guy. And Abin Sur is like, we knew what we got to do to go ahead and fix the timeline, and the Warforger agrees wholeheartedly with Abin Sur. He explains what him and Time Trappers saw in their little, dimension to where they're at. It was pretty much the end of the universe if this keeps up. So Time Trapper's like, you know what? We ain't got time for all this. And he levitates Grodd. So then we come back to Mr. Terrific and Blue Beetle. And Mr. Terrific has figured out the solution once he got out of his feelings. And he creates like this big old tuning fork, which should help Airwave find his way back here. And even though Wally said that these two guys can smash them with a sneeze, what is the Justice League doing? Attacking these two guys. But while this fight's going on, time is still messed up. So when things happen, all of a sudden it rewinds back and then it happens again. And while this is going on, Grodd is trying to bargain for his life with the Time Trapper, while the Warforger is just wrecking shop. Now, while all that's going on, the time quake is still happening. So a lot of the time displaced heroes are going back to their own times. Also, some new ones are appearing, like John Paul Valley's Batman. And then Supergirl shows up. Now, I don't know whether this was the Time Quakes or the Time Trapper. All I know is that Supergirl is like split and we see her like whole evolution of when she's been in DC Comics. And then Gorilla Grodd somehow, some way convinces Time Trapper, which is Doomsday, that his knowledge will be more useful than him being a lab experiment. So then Time Trapper's like, all right, no problem. But let me tell you, if you try to double cross me, I will put you in the heart of the sun when it first gives birth. And Grodd's like, noted. And then they disappear really fast because Wally West couldn't catch them. But then we cut back to Mr. Terrific and Ted Kord, and Mr. Terrific's tuning fork is having some issues. He figures out what he needs to do. He grabs the tuning fork, which Ted Kord tells him not to. He starts talking through it, and then all of a sudden, he reaches out his hand, and Airwave grabs it. So back at the Watchtower, we have some of our heroes that are time displaced, went back to their own times, but then we still have some that are still there. But then we cut to the original Justice League headquarters that was in the mountain, and we see Superman has arrived. Wonder Woman and Batman are already there. So Superman's like, what's up? And Batman's like, yeah, us putting the Justice League back together might have been a mistake.